Welcome to episode 11 of the Loper Show, and I welcome my buddy Adam Gilbert from the band Starset. What's up, man?
Thank you for having me today. This is awesome.
I mean, you know, we've been through a lot together, actually, in life. I mean, you used to babysit my kids at one point.
I did, and then drum lessons with Jaden.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
Many of rock shows. Many great memories, honestly.
I mean, so many great memories, man. Like, you know, it's so cool to have been there with you guys since the beginning, you know, playing like the Smoke Out.
Oh, yeah.
You know, playing Blitzmas and all of those different shows, like kind of on the way up. And then getting to see you guys like headline on the main stage at Sonic Temple.
That was awesome.
That was something else.
That was super cool. Yeah.
What was that like to be in your hometown and like, you know, behind the drum kit, looking out at everybody?
Sonic Temple is always, you know, hometown show. It's always so iconic in my mind, and I always forget it because it's like a whirlwind. But we got to play with some really great bands, Pantera, Breaking Benjamin, and we have a song, Waiting on the Sky to Change, with Ben as the feature. So that was the first time he actually performed it with us.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
It worked out. It worked out really well, and not to mention, if anyone saw the show, whoever didn't, there was a lot of pyro. Mm-hmm. Our violin player had some hair singed off. And that was around the same time that Falling in Reverse had some pyro issues. So, I mean, it's very real.
Yeah.
It's very real that you got to know, watch the tape on the ground, have fun, but you're kind of out of your zone a little bit.
Yeah. Well, I guess that's good for you because you kind of stay, you know, you're not mobile.
I'm not. I sit down for a living. Yeah. I run in place. Ran many miles like Forrest Gump, but I've never gone anywhere but watching my singer's butt.
Are there like different stools that drummers use? Like,
sure.
Yeah?
Yeah, I find that if I can get one that works, my first drum throne I had since I was 15 years old. The only reason I stopped using it is because it broke. So I had to get another one.
Okay.
But you can get some that are bouncy. You can get circles, some that are cut out for your legs. You can get one backrests. You can get one like, you know, Slipknot that goes up. And
is that like REO Speedwagon's got like the backrest?
Yeah. I'm hoping I'm not that old yet that I really need a backrest. My lumbar is killing me right now.
Yeah, you can't let the groupies see that, man. No, that's not good. Yeah, so we were talking off the air about you guys being down in Nashville. You know, and of course, I was living down there for the last year.
Right. Really early on in our career, we had a lot of great opportunities to play with bands like 10 Years and In This Moment and Hailstorm.
Yeah.
And on the Hailstorm tour, we played the Grand Ole Opry in Nashville, Ryman Auditorium.
So that's the original Grand Ole Opry. Yeah, the original.
And we decided, you know, let's go out and check out Broadway. We had been there, but not really discovered too much. And we were standing on a rooftop bar looking at the Bridgestone Arena, just dreaming about playing there, and jokingly said, you know, next time we're here, we got to play that. And the next time we went back was with Five Finger and Shinedown, and we actually played the Bridgestone Arena. So that's so cool. That's definitely a show that sticks out in my mind. You know, every time I talk about shows, that's one that pops in my head for sure.
I mean, the Ryman is so amazing. Like, if you guys get a chance to go to Nashville, I really don't care who's playing at the Ryman that night. You know, just go for the venue. Right. You know what
exactly.
I mean? No, you get the band that you love. It's a bonus. So I saw Zakk Wylde there, and it was so good.
I'm surprised the windows didn't get blown out. With his
man, it was so good. Yeah, and then in contrast, when I was there, Struggle Jennings,
of course,
you know Struggle. So he got inducted into the Opry.
Very cool.
So like Jelly played that night.
I remember that.
Who's that dude? I just jumped out of the cottonwood tree. I don't know the country as well, but like anywho.
That
guy was there, bro. And so so Struggle's having his moment in the spotlight at the Grand Ole Opry, and it's just so special because it's such a unique show. It's live, literally live on the radio as they're doing it. You know, the dude's out there hosting, like he's standing at a pulpit. You know, and then they have this like little old school interview at the end. There's no shows left like that. You know what I mean?
Right,
it's kind of like one of a kind.
Yeah, and to see artists that big, it's cool because, you know, everyone wants to play the arena, but right across the street is a more iconic venue that definitely does not hold 20,000 people.
Yeah.
And I'll still talk about both those venues, but they have such complete different, you know, mindsets.
Yeah, yeah. Well, like the new Opry, I guess the new Opry, I think they've been using that since like the 80s. Or the 70s or something like that. The one that's up by Opry Mills Mall.
Yeah.
That's, you know, the Gaylord and all that. But, John Morgan, that's the guy's name, right? Or Craig Morgan. Craig Morgan, yes.
Craig Morgan.
Yes. Yeah. Jumped out of a cottonwood tree.
We jump out Buckeye trees here.
Yeah, that's what we should write. You should only write about Buckeye trees. So growing up playing drums, like who was your guy? Like who was the person you looked up to the most?
As far as like personal life, I definitely had a lot of great instructors, great teachers. A lot of them went to either like Ohio State, and one of my old teachers was actually one of the conductors at Ohio State, Lisa Galvin. Wow. She was head of my jazz band in 7th grade, which we played the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. We had John Williams conduct our band, who's a Star Wars famous
cool,
composer
man.
conductor.
Yeah.
And then my drum teacher, John Merritt, is we butted heads a lot because once you get to high school, they really had a focus on music. Or if you weren't in music, and you're in sports, just pick one and go for that. Don't try to do 10 things. And I had a lot of hobbies, but music always drew me in. And because of their push at a younger age, even 4th, 5th grade you're talking, but all the way through my whole musical career.
Yeah, sure.
They really, I think, set me up to be able to be more in that role of you're wearing a jersey. So, Starset has our outfits, and we got to be in a role. It's not necessarily like who we are per se, but we're trying to make the show something that people will never forget without even really needing to worry about, that's my favorite drummer. Just this is a cool show. But my favorite drummer are bands like Slipknot, Joey Jordison. Growing up with him, grew up with bands like Mudvayne, which we also got to play a couple shows with. Super cool guys in their original makeup. But then I kind of started transitioning to heavier music like Meshuggah, Tomas from Meshuggah.
Good choice.
I'd go to sleep with crazy beats in my head, but that like a weird way was like help my ADHD. Yeah, because it would tire my brain out of thinking, and I could go to sleep. But it's so diverse. I'm trying
to think. Were you on stage when Vinnie Paul came back and played right before he passed? He played.
I was not there for that.
I think it was Sonic Temple at the time. But it was his first time back in Columbus since Dimebag got killed at Alrosa. Mm-hmm. And so that was so powerful. I was standing there. I was with Jose Magnan from Octane. Yeah. And I'm standing next to him and a few other people in the industry, Gary, some other people. And we're standing there and I'm just like, I can't believe I'm watching this. Mm-hmm. It was so emotional. You could tell it was really, where does Vinnie Paul stack on your list of drummers?
Yeah, super. It's definitely a different kind of music than a Slipknot or a Meshuggah. But of course, I grew up wanting that giant 14-inch by 8-inch snare with the spikes and the snakeskin wrap, which now my buddy Jacob actually owns that snare drum.
No way.
So that's like his go-to when we record. He gets that one out. It pokes my legs a lot because it's got the spikes on it. But that was definitely, he was one of the top, I'd say, within the top 5, top 6 drummers. Rush, Neil Peart kind of maybe sneaks in there a little more, but super. For me, it was very much a like how do you grow without someone teaching you, like a personal trainer in a gym? You only kind of know what you know. So having a diverse inspirations and role models without them even knowing, he has more of a classic 4 on the floor, but he still had the richness of playing less notes is heavier. Right. Versus Meshuggah, where you can't even think about, or Dragon Force, even, like 3,000 notes in one song. That's like more than Starset's whole album in notes. But one of our old bus drivers, Saul, was actually Vinny's driver for like 10 years, lived with him.
Oh, no shit.
Told us some really cool stories. We've been to Vinny's strip club, but it was 3 a.m, so everyone was like brooming the trash and the dollar bills up. I'm like, man, we don't go to strip clubs, and the one time we do, it's closed. But it was still cool to go and see the...
Where's that, Vegas?
Texas.
Dallas, okay, in Dallas, yeah. Well, that's cool. Yeah, so you guys are about to go out on an acoustic tour, right? Can you talk about that?
Yeah, very long acoustic tour. 39 shows in like 46 days.
Now, I thought it was so dope. Do you remember a few years ago when you guys did that out here at that brewery?
We're at the same place. We're doing it at a Brewdog again.
Oh, you are?
It's 2 days this time.
Oh, yes. Yep. Dude, that was so good, man. And when we did it, it was like invite only with the radio station, and you had like win your way in.
Basically, yeah.
Right? Or like maybe some of your fans could...
They're like $150 tickets. And so it's more of a VIP exclusive event that a lot of bands would try to do that like before a regular concert.
Right.
And we did that for many years, but honestly... playing acoustic and then having
that before a regular concert? That's a lot.
So about 3 or 4 o'clock, we're playing 10 or 12 acoustic songs, and then at 9 o'clock, we got to go and play a 2-hour set. Yeah. So it really does strain, vocally. It can just your body.
But it's such a different vibe too. It's kind of cool that it's
a whole different vibe.
Yeah.
And with Starset being so cinematic, and so heavy in. The way the song travels, it's not just like a guitar and a bass and some drums. It's got many elements to it. The string section, best string section in the world, honestly. We got the electronic elements. Then we have the rock stuff. And I've known these guys now for well over 16 something years, since I started playing the local scene. But to try to reimagine our own music in a way that someone might love a song like My Demons, but how do we make that completely different without completely making them hate one or the other song? So it really does challenge us as musicians to sit. We've already practiced for it was 3 days. We did 12 hours over, each day. It's 36 hours we rehearsed.
Sure.
Just to try to figure out new tempos. And we're not really on a metronome like a lot of bands are. It's all organic. And that's very different from the Starset show because we have video. We have some tracks running to just amplify some booms and stuff, but there's still a grid that needs to happen.
But what you said, the Starset performance is so cinematic.
Yeah.
I mean, you guys, it's like watching a movie. Literally, I mean, the band, I guess there's a comic book based on the band. I was going to say
there
the
is.
other way around.
Marvel comic book, actually. Marvel Comics wrote a comic around our story.
So cool.
We have 2 novels. But actually now, our last tour, we have a movie. So we play in between movie scenes.
Oh, that's so good.
And we do an hour-and-a-half show, and then we have a little intermission.
Yeah.
And then we come back out for another 6-song. I wouldn't call it an encore because it's part of the show, but we play 6 more songs in a different outfit.
Oh, that's awesome.
And then we added a 3rd change in our outfit for our song Toxic. We put on some gas masks, kind of like a Slipknot thing. And then just really give them as many songs as we can play. We play, and that's a 2-hour. Right now, that's just a 2-hour set. I say just because it's only a third of our songs. So we've been joking we're gonna have a whole day with Starset. We got to do the acoustic at 9 a.m. after our radio interview, then do 6 hours of all of our albums, and see. I mean, are bands doing stuff like that? I don't know. I haven't heard of many bands trying to do kind of upping their sales. Some bands will just sit on the same show and just buy more fire or buy a bigger stage. We're trying to figure out how can we do a bigger thing on a smaller scale. That's even if it's only 150 people. It's not only 150. This is something that only 150 people are going to see in this city.
So with the acoustic tour, are you guys going to strip it all the way down? What is?
So
can you reveal a little bit about the outfits
acoustic,
and stuff?
There's not really a suit. Like a normal spacesuit.
Because you guys had cool jackets the last time, right?
Yes. I'm imagining
sick.
we'll probably wear something like that.
Yeah, because you guys always had the spacesuits, so you guys had space jackets, like astronauts would wear when they're not in space. That looks so cool.
We call it the tech wear.
Yes, and I love that, dude. What a great touch.
That part of the show, we're supposed to be like Robin Hoods of technology.
Gotcha.
So even though we're the good guys, they make it out to be like we're the bad guys, but we're trying to make sure just. As far as Starset's concerned, our motto has always been ISKF, ignorance is slavery, knowledge is freedom.
Yeah.
We are very based around technology. Now we have over probably 30 wireless channels. We just saw Hans Zimmer, and he's got about 100 wireless, our old cello player plays for him. So he's got all these pieces of technology, yet you still need the organicness of the person to perform that.
Absolutely.
So it's almost like a I don't know the term, maybe juxtaposition, like how much technology can you throw in without losing the human element of it.
So what is the date of that Columbus show?
It's actually coming up soon, 2 weeks from now, from today, 25th and 26th.
Oh, yeah, pencil me in for that for sure.
All right.
Or Sharpie me in.
I got to say, the code word is usually butt stuff, but I'm just kidding. Got this weirdo walking up just calling out.
2 shows here, though, but then then when you embark across the country, how many cities?
39 breweries, essentially breweries.
So 39
all the way out to
shows.
California. Yep.
Wow.
And they've added more. So they're trying to, I think, do 45 and 45 days.
Sick. Are you guys playing in Nashville?
Yes. I'm not sure exactly. I haven't looked at the whole schedule yet, but we definitely are going to hit. We're hitting Nashville.
Is it the music?
Mid-March, late March.
Okay. Now I was trying to think of the venue's name. I think I just saw.
It's probably like a brew dog. So if you don't live there, you probably haven't necessarily heard of the brewery.
So they're all breweries.
It's all breweries. There's a few small venues like Denver. We play a place called HQ, but it's still like a bar restaurant thing that they open up for shows.
Yeah.
So maybe on a Monday it wouldn't normally be open, but we're renting it out for that Monday. And they're early shows too, which I think really, I totally respect our fans. They can come out for a noon, 4 o'clock, 8 o'clock at night. They don't care. We have some of the greatest fans in rock that they support us through and through, and we're super excited to see all of our biggest fans at these next shows.
It's got to be cool to kind of play these arenas, right? And then go back to playing these cool, small,
100%.
really acoustic, and really, well, obviously acoustic, but really intimate is the word I was looking for, intimate shows.
Yeah, and I'm more nervous at those shows because everyone can see me and I can see them. If you're playing for 30,000, 50,000, we played Download for close to 100,000 with like Dream Theater and Chili Peppers and stuff. You can't really see everyone all the time. So it kind of puts a wall in front of you. You can just kind of get into your zone and perform.
Sure.
You're not trying to impress your your girlfriend and your parents. Like you'll find those people, but with a smaller show, look out. Like I could see your eyes right through everyone. I'm like, oh man, he's watching right now. Don't mess this up. Like, so it's a little bit of a different mind game. And then you take away all the technology that we normally use as a normal band, and it's just us looking at each other. It's like back in 6th, 7th grade when you start learning your instruments, you got to balance to the flute player, but you're playing a loud snare drum. That's taken me back to my roots, and I'm very much appreciative of all the times I got to play in jazz bands and orchestras and a triangle. Like we would get in trouble if we didn't play the triangle right. There's a technique to it.
Yeah.
And I took the time, my teachers took the time to make sure that was ingrained, because knowing how to play a triangle gives you much more respect to stepping up to a giant drum set like Mike Portnoy. Like you're not just going to be as loud as you can and play them all the time. You still got to be tasteful with that.
Right.
And my current drum setup is just going to be a kick drum, a snare drum, a couple cymbals, and a couple electronic pads.
Okay.
So trying to make the most out of like 5 or 6
Do you
things.
use regular drumsticks the whole time?
They're actually more like wooden dowel rods, like toothpicks.
Okay, yeah.
So yeah, I'll probably break a lot more sticks, but not because I'm playing loud. It's just because it's just more of a fragile sound and like you said, more intimate.
So you mentioned the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame just a little bit ago, and the I have the list of the 2025 inductees.
Let's
now
go.
this
Let's
is just
see 'em.
like who's like, or I'm sure, not inductees. These are the nominees.
Okay.
So this is the 2025 nominees for the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. I'm gonna go through the list and you tell me what you think. Okay.
Okay.
Bad Company.
Sweet.
Up to get
Okay.
in.
Okay,
You think
cool.
they deserve it.
Cool. Yeah, I think yeah, iconic band. For
I
a
mean,
band
old
like
school. It's kind of hard to believe they're not in, right?
yeah. But I mean, how long can you get inducted the first year you're a band?
I mean,
I don't know
I think,
the
what is it?
specifications.
I think it's like 10 or 20 years. I think it's 20 years as a band, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay.
Yeah, Black Crows.
Sweet.
Should have already
All right.
been in.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
They're definitely over 20-something years. So
I mean, between like Remedy and like Hard to Handle, I mean, so many great songs, right?
yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's about time Chubby Checker, ladies and gentlemen.
Chubby
Chubby fucking Checker.
from like the 50s. Wow.
And you think like once it gets too far down the line, it's like, fuck that guy.
See, I thought
He
that was
didn't
me
get in.
just-
He hasn't gotten in yet. He's not getting in. No.
Holy cow.
No disrespect to the Chubby family.
I thought that was just me eating checkers last night at the gas station.
Billy Idol.
All right.
And here's one that I really love. Joy Division / New Order,
Oh, wow.
Yes.
I
So I'm a
haven't-
huge Joy Division fan.
Okay.
Yeah.
Man, I haven't heard those names in a while, actually. I'm not the biggest fan, but
Real big fan. Oasis is up this year.
all right.
And I mean, their shows in Europe have been insane.
Take some time off. You come back twice as big, right?
What's it like when you play in Europe?
Oh, man. Well, so our last tour was just Starset on tour.
Yeah.
There's no other bands opening.
Oh, that's interesting.
Well, we have so much stuff on stage, it wouldn't really bode well for an opening band. Like they wouldn't wouldn't have the stage that they would want. And also because we have so much stuff, we have to have all day to set it all up and tearing it down. We have here in the States, we have 2 semis, 2 buses. Over there, one semi,
Just a couple of lorries.
One lorry. Our driver Bjorn is one of Rammstein's drivers. He's
is that right?
6'9" German guy.
Dude.
Basically wears a kilt and a like an old golf hat
Gotcha.
every day. But you don't mess with Bjorn. He drinks pint beers like it's a sip. But yeah, so we have like a truck, a box truck sometimes, and our bus is a big double-decker bus.
Yeah.
George, our driver, is Mariah Carey's bus driver. Right after us, last time Limp Bizkit got on the same bus. I'm like, I wonder if Wes Borland's laying in my bunk because just having those bands, knowing you're in the same company, it's really stressful to
You
trust
take 'em
someone.
to the Matthews Bridge,
We've the Matthews Bridge in Cockney.
That's right. That's right.
So the shows it's just us. So we range from 500 people. We play like Leeds University. Never been there,
that's
so like
wild.
500
Yeah.
people. But we'll take. We love any show, but
people in Europe, fuck
going
with you
from
guys
there to like
hard, right?
Scotland, you're
Yeah.
talking like 1,500, 2,000, crazy,
That's
screaming.
wild, man.
They chant stuff. Hey, we fucking go. And everyone's into it. They're moshing.
Yes.
It's a different. I'd say it's a little bit different culturally over there because one, we're American, so when we come over there, everyone's ready to go. They haven't seen us in a year or whatever. Not many people travel over here to come to shows.
Yeah.
It's expensive.
A year at least. I mean, like, yeah.
So yeah, there's definitely a big following where we see a lot of familiar faces, which is amazing. I'm terrible with names. Like you'll tell me your name yesterday and I already forgot it 5 minutes later. But we see a lot of familiar faces, but we are still growing. If one person has seen us now, they probably bring 2 or 3 people the next time, and and that's
cool.
huge for us. We love seeing new faces. It really helps us grow, and we will always go back. I mean, we've been anywhere from Russia, China, Australia, Japan. I don't know, every other European state, Poland.
Yeah.
We've been to Ukraine.
What's
actually.
it like when you check in to Russia? I mean, is the government cool with you guys?
Well,
everybody treats you
they're
well?
expecting you.
Yeah.
You have to do a lot of paperwork.
Yeah.
There's a lot of documents. Don't lose your passport. Don't a lot of times if you're in places like Nizhny Novgorod or Irkutsk or Vladivostok, these are places in Russia that most people only know Moscow or St. Petersburg.
Sure, right.
Because those are the biggest cities. And you just take a train between. So you fly in here, take a train, fly out, and you're kind of gone. But the last time we were there was actually March of 2020. March 7th we landed, and COVID was already getting crazy here.
Yeah,
we did a whole 20 show run in Europe before that. Ended up skipping our Milan show because it was scheduled for March 2nd. March 1st was their COVID ban.
Right, and they were real crazy about the COVID. Remember that?
Italy
was
Italy was because
shape.
they're such a small country and they're very familial.
Yeah.
They
remember everybody's on the balcony.
They got
hanging out.
They got their 3-generation grandmas in their house. So,
yeah.
no wonder germs are spreading so fast.
Totally.
Yeah, they're on the balcony doing concerts.
Yeah, that was wild. What a time to be alive, man. That was crazy.
So it can be something that it's kind of whatever you want it to be. But Russia.
But you feel comfortable when you're there. You don't feel like you're going to get detained or anything like that.
We have had some times.
Is that right?
The first time we went to Russia was with Breaking Benjamin.
Okay.
And we landed, 2 p.m. Who knows what time it was here?
Right.
You got to kind of stay up to let your body adjust. And our promoters like Sergey and Marina, 2 amazing people. There's way more than that, but those 2 are usually the ones that make sure we're where we need to be.
Yeah.
Marina will help us get haircuts.
Gotcha.
Hey, you need some McDonald's? I'll go grab this for you. They, speak for us because people know you're from America. They can just tell. Mm-hmm. Not a lot of people are just vacationing to Russia, so
gotcha.
They can tell, and that they want to know about you, but also it's kind of weird for them too. It's like culture shock on both sides. So we have a lot of great people who help make sure we're successful, and they will say, "Hey, you're in the middle of Siberia. Just don't leave the hotel unless we know because there's bears and probably KGB, But anyway, so back to the Breaking Ben.
that can put seriously, a little hitch in the giddy up at the tour. You know what I mean?
So just be careful. Dude. Just be a chameleon. Learn your surroundings first before you want to be, love Jared Leto, love 30 Seconds to Mars. We were traveling right behind him on this tour, and he's praising himself like Jesus in the middle of the Red Square, and there's 500 people singing with him, but it's he had how much security behind this?
Sure.
We don't really have that. Yeah. We got Marina and Sergey protecting us at the Red Square.
Yeah.
And I do remember that one of the first times when we landed, we're leaving the hotel. Let's go get some lunch. Okay, cool. Sergey got in his Audi with Dustin and Ron, our singer and bass player, and me and Brock, the guitar player, got in a taxi with Marina, and so we're cruising down the road, and these freeways are 8 lanes wide both ways.
Yeah.
So lane 1 and lane 16 is a turn lane. You're not legally allowed to cross these roads. This is 4 270s put together, for 270 Interbelt. And you can go underneath the tunnels to get across the other side, but there's a lot of people, defecating, and it can be stinky. And,
gotcha.
They definitely like to drink everywhere. So that you can kind of get into some scuffles whether you want to or not. So we're just sticking with our promoters, and we're about a mile away from this bar, and there's this big swooping turn, and there's a police officer on the corner, and he just puts his orange cone up and points at the taxi and pulls us over. Well, meanwhile, me and Brock didn't bring our passports to the bar. We're with our handlers. We don't need to bring this stuff.
Oh, my God.
So the cop, I'm in the front seat of this taxi. There's 3 people in the back. Two of the girls that were with us were the promoters, and then me and Brock. And the cop comes up and he looks at me. He goes, "Documents, passport," and I'm like, "Oh man!" Hand him my Ohio driver's license.
What had happened was
what had happened was we did nothing. He just saw me and was like, "Who's this guy?" Yeah. So I hand him my Ohio driver's license. This is all I got, man. And I'm looking at the taxi driver "Please give me something here. Marina, help me out." They're trying to talk, and he's like, "Get out of the car." Almost perfect English. Get out of the car.
Yeah.
Uh-oh. So me and Brock are standing on the corner of Moscow, just. Dude, we're not leaving here. We didn't even do anything wrong, and we're going to get arrested within 2 hours of being here. And so they finally explained to them, hey, they don't have their documents because they're at the hotel. We just got here, trying to get them some food so they can go back and rest. They're musicians. And he's like, "Ugh, Americans, go." And so we just get back in the taxi and just go. Just leave. Just get to where you got to go.
Yeah.
So maybe that happens here too. But over there, they can just do whatever they want, and you better be on your best behavior.
For sure, man. So Tom from Westside Barbell,
of course.
So I performed his wedding, in Ireland.
We used to have a garage right next door to West Side.
No, I remember with your dad's cars and all that. Yeah. So when I was over there, I got tickets to go see Eddie Vedder.
Sweet.
And it was such a cool experience. It was just so fun to be somewhere else other than the United States, seeing a concert and just being like arm in arm with these people. I'd never met these people before. These super
great.
drunk Irish guys just having the best time. You know what I mean?
That's
it was,
awesome.
What an incredible show too. And and the venues are just slightly different to where it's like really fun, but it's not so foreign where you're like,
right. You're not your typical Kemba or Newport, but
yeah. But it's still like, I mean, what a beautiful the O2 in Ireland and Dublin.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's one country we haven't played. We've landed in Dublin plenty of times. We've never played in
Ireland's so amazing. The people there are just so perfect, and just.
Well, can you tour there? Like if you think about
you go to Cork. You could do.
Dublin.
You would do Dublin, of course. I mean,
how far are these drives though? Like 2 hours? 3 hours?
So it's small. So Ireland in itself is smaller than Ohio.
Yeah. So I'm saying touring like now we're doing the Ohio tour, like Cleveland, Cincinnati.
Yeah, so you'd like Cork to like Dublin, like in an hour and a half, something like that.
I wonder how many.
Because I drove the whole time I was there, dude. Like,
okay.
Yeah, it was wild.
Sweet. I just wonder how many fans would travel to multiple shows, or if we just do one bigger show, would it be more impactful? Those are kind of the things you have to test by traveling.
I see. I think it's cool. Like if you do one in Dublin and then one in the South somewhere, because I don't think that happens as much down there.
I would love to do that.
Yeah,
for sure.
It's such a cool place. Like the people are just so accepting, and I felt so comfortable the whole time I was there. But all right. So we were doing the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame nominees here. Now these are not necessarily getting in; these are just nominees. We said Oasis, Cyndi Lauper.
Cool. Obviously iconic.
I had to do that the whole time I was growing up.
I can't believe she's not in yet.
Is it Lauper, like Cyndi Lauper? I'm like, no, bro, it's Loper.
Cyndi Loper, yeah.
No.
Yeah,
she's dope, right? I mean, like,
come on. Can't believe she's not in yet.
I know. I mean, she's got, outside of like girls just want to have fun. I mean, like, some of her hits are bangers, man. Outcast, long overdue. Outcast.
We played a show in London with Breaking Ben, and CeeLo was at the same hotel.
Oh,
he walked right out.
Oh, that's cool, man.
Moved us aside, not really, but like moved us aside, got in his Sprinter. We're like, see you later, CeeLo. Like, say bye.
Yeah, dude. Man, he's what a voice on that guy, man.
Yeah.
It's so unique. Fish.
All right.
Soundgarden and the White Stripes, all nominees for the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame this year.
That's quite an eclectic mix, but I feel like there's no name in there that I'd be like, no, that's
Yeah. So on this acoustic tour, is it just you guys, or do you have an opener?
It's just us.
That's so rad.
Yeah, it's about 10 to 12 songs we typically play.
Sick.
And it's usually random too. Like we spin a wheel. You can ask like a trivia question. You can win merch.
And will the concerts be at night or during the day?
Usually it's more of a daytime thing.
Okay.
Yeah, because these bars and venues that we're renting out, breweries, whatever, a lot of them want to help us out, so they'll open up a little earlier.
Okay.
And then so let's say it's 4 to 6, and they normally open at 6. Well, now their crowd that's built in can hang out, and we hang out with everyone until everyone leaves.
Oh, that place was mobbed when you guys played the Brewdog here a couple years
and that
ago.
was at the end of the tour, so we're doing it at the beginning of the tour this time, so we're going to...
I can't wait.
You want to end in your hometown, but no, we're excited. We've already rehearsed over 36 hours for this just in a couple days, and we'll have a whole week before the tour to really prep everything and get all the lights and all the sound all dialed in. It's electric acoustic, so the guitars are plugged in, so you don't have to sit with like an ear horn listening. But it's all really well balanced. We have a newer sound guy, Chad, who is more of an EDM guy, but he's like, I can do this acoustic thing too. So he's like, turn down the subs a little bit.
That's sick.
Yeah, it'll be cool. So anyone that wants to come out, I know one of the days is sold out. I believe the 26th is sold out, but the 25th still probably has some tickets available.
Okay. And what other shows are there close, like Indianapolis or
Indy? We're doing Cincinnati, Cleveland.
Oh, where do you do Cincinnati?
It's actually Newport. There's I can get my phone out and look at the schedule if you want me to.
Yeah, I mean, like, listen, we're not like on a time schedule here.
Yeah, I don't know if is it considered Cincinnati? Some people say Cincinnati, but it's
you mean
right
like across in Kentucky? Yeah,
so it's Newport.
Yeah. So that area is really cool over there where the aquarium is.
Yep.
Like if you've never been over there, I mean, like there's like streets and streets of just like really nice bars, and the streets are beautiful. It's not, and no offense to Kentucky, I love the great people of Kentucky, the bluegrass state. But I mean, like when you say Kentucky, sometimes,
you never know what holler you're talking about. My mom's family's from Kentucky. They came here on a wagon train in the 40s.
I'm from Southern Ohio, like right across the river from Kentucky. Yep. I get it. You know what I mean? But that area is definitely a different Kentucky.
Yeah, for sure. I used to play a place called Mad Hatter back in the day down there. I mean, everyone that was in local bands tried to tour.
Yeah.
But like you do like the weekend tour where you go to Cleveland, Cincinnati, Columbus, and it's like, we're on tour.
Yeah.
But yeah, super good memories of traveling. We actually played Rupp Arena. Was it Rupp Arena in Lexington, the Wildcats?
Oh, okay, yeah,
We
yeah.
played their
Yeah.
basketball stadium on that same
Awesome.
Bridgestone Arena tour with.
Hell yeah.
So we've had some really good company. You know, we've been very fortunate to have some of these bands bring us along, and I would like to think we still earned our place, but sometimes getting the extra help and having like 20 arena shows,
Yeah.
it'll push you a little more. So
Yeah, I'm excited, man. There's like a lot of good stuff, like a lot of great tours coming. I know at the end of next month, the Deftones are here.
loved.
That's
oh, man.
it's gonna be the first time I've seen them in a minute,
Man.
not on a festival.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of excited about
yeah,
that.
we played a show with them, Rock im Ring or Rock im Park in Germany,
Oh, sick.
and it was a couple years. It was maybe you heard about it. There was like some lightning strikes, and a lot of like Manson's people were struck by the
wow.
ground was struck by lightning.
Yeah.
So they had to cancel a lot of the show because of the weather. Because you're 10 minutes, literally 10 minutes, 10 miles into a field, and then there's another 5 miles to go past the campgrounds.
Oh,
So you're in the middle of nowhere, and if you're out there, I mean, we played Bring Me the
just
Horizon. They had 4
Right.
PAs set up. That's how many people are just sitting in these fields. Or download in Islington and London area. They have so many thousands of people that at some point they're just like pissing on a wall. We just call it the piss walls right next to the stage because there's no way to travel 10 minutes to the
Yeah.
bathrooms.
Well, our festivals are huge, but over there it's
Huge,
a different
huge.
thing.
Yeah, it's like Rammstein every time. you know?
Right. So, are you guys on any of the big festivals this year?
We are doing download again.
Okay.
We're doing here. Let me switch this back to this. We're doing Grash Pop in Belgium, and we're doing a really cool festival in Switzerland called Greenfield so far.
Any of the Danny Wimmer shows or anything?
I really don't know yet. There's some TBD stuff,
Gotcha.
but there's until we actually hear it.
Yeah, because everything's not announced yet. I think Incarceration still has some lineup to go, and I don't think they've announced Louder Than Life yet.
Yeah, man. We did Louder and Sonic obviously last year, so I don't know if they'll have us back. I think it's typically 2 years
Yeah,
that they
keep it
offset,
spicy, yeah.
unless you're Metallica.
Have you guys played out west at Aftershock?
Yeah.
I've
Oh
heard
yeah, we've
that's a
done
rad
Aftershock
festival.
before.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean,
In Rockville, you guys played Rockville too.
3 or
Florida,
4.
right?
We played it at the old Jacksonville Jaguar Stadium, even.
My girl
like
Jen loves
underneath
that.
the
She goes every year.
freeways.
Yeah.
And now it's at Daytona. No
Yeah.
big deal. You wake up on your bus and you walk out and stretch. You're like, that's turn 4. You know?
I know, but it's so hot, right? With the
So-
concrete,
oh my
it's
God.
crazy.
And there's no cell phone service.
Oh.
So if you want to find, like, you just got to kind of stay where you know you're supposed to be. And all of a sudden they're like, hey, we're doing sound check 5 minutes earlier. I'm like, I just went to the dressing room that's 10 minutes away. Give me a break here. I need a golf cart again.
Because I'm actually thinking about doing Rockville this year instead of Sonic Temple.
Yeah.
I've never been, and
It's definitely,
Yeah.
it's insane. They got the wristband thing. Beeping your wristband everywhere you go kind of gets annoying, in my opinion. But, they need the safety. They need to track their numbers so they can sell more tickets next year.
yeah.
But yeah, it's really cool. If you haven't been to Daytona, it's the speedway and all the shows in the middle of the track.
Yeah,
So
that's
you're like
sick.
in the speedway watching a rock show. Limp
Yeah.
Bizkit, we had to shove out a little earlier last year to get to it was like 10-hour drive.
Uh-huh.
Maybe I shouldn't say that's kind of illegal, but it was like just on the cusp of being
Right,
not
right.
allowed to get there.
Yeah.
And we had to leave, and as soon as we did, we hear it's just one of those days.
Oh,
we
that's-
look over and Limp Bizkit's taking the stage. We're like, man, we just want to see Limp Bizkit. And luckily, we played with them at Sonic. So
Yeah, dude, they've gotten just so dialed in over the last couple of years.
Yeah.
It was kind of interesting to watch those guys come back. Guys that were absolutely just mega stars.
they're
the biggest of the big, right?
icons. It's like you would never expect.
And then just disappear for years.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden come back and Fred's doing this new thing. He's like dressed up like an old man. Everybody's confused.
Yeah.
And the shows, and I'll admit, the shows in the beginning, it seemed like almost like he didn't want to be there or something, or he was doing like a mockery of it. And I was just like, is this what it's going to be like? And then the next show I saw was a little bit better. And then I saw them at Incarceration,
Yeah.
I think a year before last or something.
Yeah,
And it
22.
was just, 23, I think. Yeah.
23.
It was just fucking crazy. I mean, it was like back
Yeah.
to like seeing them in 1998.
I feel like I was
99
10
again.
years old again.
Yeah, dude.
It's so
Yeah.
cool. And actually, speaking of which, I'm starting a new side project.
Really?
Well, I'm calling it a side project, but I'm going to definitely put a lot of focus into it. It's me and my buddy. His name is Sode.
Okay.
We're both Columbus boys. He has grown up more of a metal guy. Was in a band called the Crimson Armada.
Yeah, okay.
Which, like Attack back in the day.
Totally, yeah.
People like Caleb from Beartooth were in Attack.
Yep.
Johnny from Attack is Bill Murray now, if you know Bill Murray.
Yep.
So we're kind of taking on a similar approach to like what is new metal. We're gonna call it Father Stone, aka Dad Rock, because Korn is now Dad Rock. That's one of my dad's favorite bands.
Isn't that
Slipknot.
so
You've
weird?
met my dad.
Yeah,
like he's
yeah,
like
no,
my
your dad's
hype guy.
rad. Yep.
So is my mom. But my dad, I grew up playing in the basement, and he is a draftsman, so he was always in the basement. Plus, he's a drummer.
Yeah.
So me and my old band, we have like 4 Marshall stacks down there and drums. We're just, blazing. We're blowing the roof off the house, and he's just over there drawing rebar and, super crazy mathematical equations, and he's just letting us crush it in the basement. So to grow up with all my Slipknot posters and all the bands, Korn, Mudvayne, all those, Coal Chamber even, now it's like, hey, Adam, did you hear that new song that's on the Blitz? Shinedown is this song, or Slipknot's this song. I'm like, Dad, no, I didn't know that. Like, the fact that you're telling me the new stuff is pretty cool. So to pay homage to that, like, new metal kind of wave, I think they just took something that was really heavy and kept it heavy in certain ways, but they made it pop. So, like, the pop elements of, like, being able to sing and kind of rap along to it. So it was a really cool fusion. And so we're trying to like reimagine, or even like an Alice in Chains that wasn't as poppy, but still had the grunginess of like an older West Coast band. Father Stone's gonna hopefully pop off the end of this month. We're trying to figure out some avenues that we can take it, maybe radio. We want to keep it organic, kind of like a bootstrapping thing. But definitely excited to see what people think about the music. And I know a lot of good connections, including yourself. People I've met along the way, just to get honest opinions. And if I'm doing something wrong, people will tell me. They won't always tell me I'm doing something right. So, once the music comes out, hopefully people will dig what we're doing. It's
Is
kind
there
of
like an Instagram right now people can grab?
No, we're gonna try to take a little bit more time to just really make sure everything is in order before we just start putting out things just willy-nilly. I think this has a lot of potential, and there's a lot of good inspirations. Some of the bands we've been talking about even, but we're trying to take those ideas and those writing philosophies, but put it into like a Beach Boys mentality, like 2.5-minute songs, man. Like leave everyone wanting more heaviness of Deftones, where they think more of space is heavy versus a lot of notes. But you can sing. There's a little bit of screaming here that's tastefully done, like a Static X. So there's a lot of cool things that we're trying to pull from that, even if we're not thinking about it, like that kind of reminds me of this. And so not to be too far off the topic of what most people like their tastes. We want to still stick to something that's familiar for people, but we want to try to make something new. So like new metal, like what is Dad Rock now? It's Father Stone.
Yeah, that's sick, man. I like that. And also it's a great departure from Starset. You know what I mean? So you get to do something that you're not doing all the time.
Right.
And,
I'm obviously going to stay in Starset, but that's kind of rolling now, and we're so many shows coming up. I'm sure they're going to announce a lot more here in a couple months, but in the downtime that I don't get to do music, I'm like, what do? I want to play drums, but I want to have a purpose with that. So I think this will be a cool next step for me and my brand. Drum Abuse is the brand I've been going by for the last 6-7 years.
And that's where people can find you on Instagram too, right?
Yeah, Drum Abuse. The whole idea with that is it's just a creative thinking site. You drum up an idea, abuse your creativity. If you don't get creative and make a mess behind the scenes, how are you ever going to become Gordon Ramsay? I want to be in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame at some point, but you got to start small. You got to build up. You got to find, truly yourself in all of that. So pulling all these inspirations, yes, but also how do you make all those into a new sound? Yeah, man. So that's really what we're going for.
In front of the other every single day, man.
Absolutely.
And just keep grinding.
Absolutely.
Sure. Man, I'm so happy, Adam, for all your success.
Heck yeah, man.
The Father Stone and Starset, Adam Gilbert on the Loper Show, man. Dude, thanks so much for coming.
Thank you again, man. Great to see you again.
I really appreciate it. And you guys, man, thanks so much for supporting me. You have no idea how much I appreciate it. Hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, grab that bell. You'll get a notification every single time that we have a new show that drops. And hey, show 12 on the way with my boy Rich Regal next week. Notification every single time that we have a new show that drops. And hey, show 12 on the way with my boy Rich Regal next week.